Smoke Show Scarlet Bordeaux, and you're watching the Kayfabe Man Cave podcast.
What's up? It's Sammy, the Spanish guy Guevara, and new TNT champion. And you, right now, yes, you, are listening to Kayfabe Man Cave.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kayfabe Man Cave podcast. I am your host, Marv, here with my co-hosts, Jay Reckless and Vacant.
AKA Mark.
Returning to the show, Mark, AKA Refreshments, AKA Vacant. Welcome back, man.
What's up?
All right, so we'll be talking about Triple H and the Helmsley era.
I mean, what a week in wrestling, right?
Yeah, what a month. So these past 2 months, he's brought back Dakota Kai, Dexter Lumis, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and Johnny Gargano.
Braun
Strowman just last week. What do you guys think about those pickups?
JR, go ahead, take the floor first.
I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead.
I got it. For the most part, I'm excited about it, right? A lot of them I don't think should have been let go. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of them that got let go, I mean, you don't have room for everybody, right? But a person like Dakota Kai she never really had a chance to go to the main roster, see how it is. EO technically didn't leave, but she got brought up. She was almost going to leave, but she resigned. So it's a good thing. I guess more people have faith in Triple H from what I read. And the backstage area is a lot happier. Nobody's walking on eggshells anymore. The one that surprised me the most as far as the releases is Braun Strowman, although he's the one I'm least excited about because I was never really a big Braun Strowman fan. But he's over. As if you watch SmackDown tonight and Raw on Monday, he's over. Love him or hate him, people like that guy. The one I'm most excited about, I guess, would be Karrion Kross. Have an affinity for Kross and Scarlett, obviously. And Gargano. It's interesting to see how he'll, to see where he'll progress in the future. But yeah, I mean, it's a new day. No pun intended. And it's just interesting and kind of, I guess, breathe a new air into WWE that we haven't seen in a long time, and kind of more excitement as evidenced by the ratings and all that stuff.
What are your thoughts on it, Mark?
Well, I think he's being smart in terms of bringing back certain talent, just having to be cautious about bringing back too much talent.
Yeah, you can't bring everybody back, but
yeah. So it's like
you don't want to make the mistake that AEW has made, right?
I think that's something that me and JR spoke about before, at least on the side, where I was like, the firings back when Nick Khan was hired, I was like, it sucked, it was sad, but at the same time, when you looked at it numerically, you had 3 shows and a rotation of like maybe 30, 40 talents on a roster of 240 people.
So I read that Triple H stated that Nick Khan wasn't the reason for all those firings.
I heard that, like they made him a scapegoat, basically.
Yeah. So it must have been another higher up or Vince.
I mean, I'm sure he had a say in it. Like him and Vince probably talked about like they should cut the fat.
Exactly. Funny one.
But he might not have like been the one to say this guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah. So like, all right. So thank you for that, because obviously my knowledge in terms of Nick Khan being the blaming person, but whatever the case may be, financially he could be the person that said, let's trim the fat. You're wasting a lot of money. of having these people sit in catering for nothing.
Mhm.
And it was a good call. So now, like, back
Yeah,
to
it's a
the
good
whole
business
point of
decision.
so back to the point of let's say hiring these people, and the ones that he did hire, Dakota Kai being a perfect example of a good hire. Braun Strowman, despite whatever views you have of him, like JR said, he's a great merchandise seller, and
He's a spectacle, man.
exactly.
He is, yeah.
And
He's
and
like
an
a
attraction.
the Giant. He's like Andre the Giant. He's like a Big Show.
but he's like Big Show like early, but
A
because
little bit more athletic.
he's more athletic, he's more, how do you say this, rounded, in the sense of like he's not just all legs like like he's not like Kevin Nash, who was just all like upper body.
Mhm.
So you won't
Yeah,
see
and-
those kind of injuries.
Yeah.
And he's just better than Omas, right?
Exactly. That's not so stiff, which is good.
Right. Right.
He'll know
Omos-
how to sell.
As much as I love Omas as he's a fan of the channel,
Shout out to
he
Omos.
does need more time, I think, in NXT, I would say.
I agree. Yeah, he needs some more work
think-
in his character
I would-
and his wrestling.
I don't know if it's something more so about his. I think it's his physical capabilities for some people.
You think he's limited?
I'm pretty sure he has. I don't want to even guess because this is an assumption, but it's like I heard he has like some like a medical condition in regards to like giganticism or something like that. Like,
Mm.
but it's
Maybe.
something that he recently actually opened up on, but it's just like it you definitely can see the stiffness in him, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't look mobile.
yeah,
He
and
does it.
and you don't want someone to be like in for that long, where it's just like to the point where he's like, oh, he looks like he's in pain.
Right.
But then you have that Braun Strowman side, which is good. Who else came back?
Johnny Gargano, Karrion
Perfect
Cross.
Perfect hire.
Perfect hire. How do you guys think Johnny Gargano will translate to the main roster? Because he's a smaller guy.
I mean, right now it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who he's gonna. He's re-debuting Monday, right? So I don't know who he's facing. I wanted to assume it's gonna be Austin Theory, who just recently got his first name back.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Tommaso.
Yeah, Tommaso.
Tommaso Ciampa,
But
yeah.
but
he
yeah,
has that
perfect
back too.
example. Like Tommaso fits in really well. Similar build as Johnny. Obviously, Johnny is not as he's not much. He's not as a body guy as Ciampa is, but he's definitely over. So I mean, you can't deny that.
He knows how to get around, like over in terms of like just personality, wrestling ability.
Yeah.
He can ham it up as the goofy heel, or he can be the resilient baby face.
I love.
Yeah, it's
the,
very
like-
versatile.
Very versatile.
I mean, he's similar built to like Daniel Bryan, so I mean, I don't see why he can't succeed. It's going to be
That's
up to
true.
him and obviously the booking, right?
Right.
Who else was brought back?
Dakota
Loomis.
Kai, Dexter Loomis.
Loomis is.
I love Dexter Loomis.
Loomis
It's just
is-
weird,
He's a great character, man. He's very unique.
That's
So I'm
the
glad
perfect
they
way
picked him
to
up.
and he doesn't have to talk.
Right.
I think
Like, what a job.
The little bit that he did
Just needs to
talk,
stare at his
the-
opponents.
Yeah, the little bit that he did talk in NWA was a little odd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He did talk in NWA. What did he say? What did he talk about?
It was just he had a feud with I think one of the title holders. He came back. We can YouTube it later, but it was just weird to be like, oh, he got full sentences going on.
Yeah, it's like when you see him now, it's like, man, that's not Dexter Loomis. That's Sam Shaw.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting character, and I like he's paired with the best person
The Miz.
to get him over. Yeah,
Yeah. It's perfect.
I don't want to talk about
the
it.
Miz is MVP. I don't know, like I guess like that guy is the career builder. I have to say, if Bryan Danielson gets people over in matches, Miz
Gets him over in promos.
character.
Yeah, I mean, the Miz is, love him or hate him, and his character work is great. That's why he's in like 8 Marines, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Loomis is like the yin to the Mrs. Yang, you know. Since he doesn't speak, Miz could do all the talking.
I
You
know.
know?
Yeah. I don't
Anybody
think.
else?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead. No, I was like, anybody else think that was just super creepy when he was just laying there, like looking at the Miz from the floor
Yeah.
during the cage match?
I try.
That was weird.
I'm trying to think of anyone that the Miz had really like a bad feud with.
Not my man. Dude had a feud with
And
John
I can
Cena at
recall.
WrestleMania, so
Yeah.
Like
love him or hate him, Miz
he's
is
scary,
super
yeah.
trustworthy.
Yeah, he's done it all, man.
Yeah, no, he's what 2-time Grand Slam champion, right?
Mhm.
That's why he was able to, like, as much as Logan Paul was amazing, like he made sure he took care of him. It was great.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the. I mean, getting sidetracked off of all that. Triple H made great hires. I don't think there's anyone so far that I'm like, yeah.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, Braun is the only one that I'm not a fan of, but I understand why you get him back, right?
Yeah, he's a look.
But who's next? And that's not a play on Goldberg, by the way.
Do
We
you
don't
think
need him back.
that's the next topic I want to discuss? Who are the wrestlers you think Triple H will bring back?
Sasha
That's a-
and Naomi are next. I think.
Yeah, I think that's just
Oh,
a
yeah,
matter
yeah.
of, I think that's just
Yeah.
a matter of time.
Yeah, it was already rumored that they agreed to come back.
They're just biding their time, I think, on that one. I heard there's rumors that they're talking to Bray Wyatt again, so
Mhm.
I don't know if I personally I don't care to see. I mean, I like the Fiend, but I'd rather him just go back to the cult leader,
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'd rather see that.
I like to see him go like switch it up sometimes, you know. Maybe save
Was
the
he Mick
Fiend for
Foley?
like a pay-per-view.
See, but that's
He's gonna-
like Finn Balor would paint. You
Yeah.
don't know if he's actually gonna lose. Like, who was it that beat
Yeah.
up Samoa Joe?
What about Samoa Joe?
Well, Samoa Joe is the only one that beat Finn Balor with paint.
Oh, with
And-
Pain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then who else? Roman Reigns beat him, but due to a top rope malfunction.
And he got crotched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the Fiend beat Demon Finn? Did they ever fight?
No, remember it got canceled for that
Mhm.
AJ versus Finn match. That was
Yeah, because he got like hepatitis, not hepatitis, HPV or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, he might have got hepatitis. I don't know. But yeah, that's like they all got like mono or something, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever the case may be, it's he definitely should come back as like either a cult leader or I mean, I don't see how he can't change another thing because the guy's great with making gimmicks. But it's like one of those things where it's like, how can you physically beat the Fiend if he took like 4 curb stomps?
But yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like I like the Fiend, right? But it's like, especially now in this era where everything's supposed to be a little more real, it's like, how do you book yourself into a corner where it's like you can't beat this guy, right? But you don't want others to lose too much. So it's like it's weird. That's why I think the Eater of Worlds, the cult leader works better.
It's more modern. Eater of Worlds. Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
the
then they
Fiend is like an 80s, 90s type of gimmick, you know?
It's like him and Joe Gacy have to fight over their gimmicks.
Or maybe he's the real leader of them.
Well, that could be true.
What are they called?
Or they could team up. They could
The
start their own
Dyad.
faction.
The Diag is that's what's her
The
face.
tag
That's
team.
that's
Grizzled
Grizzled Young.
Yeah.
That's GYV.
But yeah, no, like this whole the since Triple H has been back, I mean, honestly, better programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
You get hands.
It'll be more modern. It'll be less campy.
Yeah, but what can we be negative about in the sense of like, what are we? If we can go all day about gushing about how great it is and how much better it is, but what do you guys see?
What
as,
do we not like?
Yeah,
Can't really think of anything.
Joe Gacy.
Can you, Jair?
What I don't like about WWE right now?
Yeah, with the Hemsley era, ever since Hemsley took over.
I mean,
really-
it's going to take time for it to fully change, right? Oh,
Yeah.
schism.
I
That's what
mean,
they're called. The schism.
He just took over like the past month, so not much has
I
changed.
mean, I can tell you that I love that there's no stupid 24/7 crap.
That's true.
I know it still
The
happens in
silly
live shows,
segments.
but not on like live TV apparently.
Mhm.
It wasn't needed. I guess one thing I get, there's still like these wonky finishes I don't like too many like roll ups or like those weird DQ finishes. That's stuff typical WWE stuff, but that's just what they do, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Triple H has been on a roll, man. I don't see anything that I don't like these past couple of months.
I mean,
I
I
can
think
tell you-
I think Io and Dakota should have won the titles instead of Aaliyah and Raquel
Yeah, maybe they're saving it for another time.
for Monday. That's the match, right? Monday. Maybe Sasha Banks comes
Yeah.
out this Monday. We'll see.
I don't know why they didn't just keep EO and change it to EO with a Y.
Oh, Io Sky.
Io Shirai. Yeah,
Oh,
Io
change the name to
Sky.
Io Sky.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed it.
I mean, the name changes, I guess, but that was implemented with McMahon. So, but Triple H is still keeping up
Yeah.
with some of them, but he's giving some of their names back. Like,
I hope Dunn gets his name back.
well, he's Butch Pete Dunne. He's like an amalgamation of himself because he's dressing like Pete Dunne, but
He's
still
dressing like
Butch.
how he used to dress, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still Butch. Which they had a good match today. Did you watch that? Did you watch SmackDown?
I did, yeah.
Imperium?
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, man, I love Imperium.
What's his name? Sheamus, his chest healed up pretty quick, huh?
Bro, Sheamus?
It's
Sheamus
like-
all this,
Do
It's
you
like
need-
Bleach White again. His
do you
chest
need
is Bleach White
five-star
again.
Sheamus?
bro.
Dude, that was like one of his best
Shamey, bro?
matches, man. And,
Yeah,
I shame me, bro.
He got
Castle
five.
Castle.
He got 5 stars.
Who, Daddy Meltzer? Give him 5 stars?
Yeah, him and Gunther.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah? Meltzer
I-
watches WWE?
Yeah, I'm surprised he watched WWE. They deserve it. I thought it was a great match.
Bro, Sheamus?
With that style,
Out of
with their
nowhere.
styles. Yeah.
Bro, like, I guess not just Sheamus in that sense, but all the Brawling Brutes, like, they just became faces, like, out of nowhere, right?
They're over now, man.
I didn't see that turn coming.
Yeah, they're super over. You know, in that tag team match, people were cheering for Sheamus to be tagged.
Yeah. There was super loud let's go Sheamus chants. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, what's going on, guys?
They're like, we want Sheamus.
I'm like, man, this is weird. When's the last time Sheamus was a face?
Long time. I think since he was last time was when he was champion, right? WWE champion.
Man, Ridge has never been a face.
No. Neither has Pete Dunne, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. With,
Yeah,
the
with
bro.
Matt Riddle,
That real.
Oh yeah, Matt Riddle. Right,
the Bros
right.
are weights.
I forgot about that tag team.
Yeah, but
But,
it's interesting.
I had to tell you guys what I don't like about this whole Triple H era. Me personally, with the whole Triple H thing, do not like the fact that I guess he's doing certain talents like I don't think my personal thing that I liked was maximum male models. And it's just like he's shoehorning Hit Row into something where it was like that's the one thing that I didn't like their segments.
That feud now.
Yeah, they're playing they're that whole freestyle thing was just awkward. And
Yeah, well, they're doing. If you watch, you see tonight, they're still doing that feud thing, but it looks like they might add Los Lotharios, but we'll see.
but it's just such a shoehorn. Like Max and Male Models didn't even win one match yet. They didn't even
It's true.
be credible.
Yeah.
Build it up. You had something where people were like talking about them just because of their promos already.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think you can't. I get what you're saying, but if they should have had some squash matches first.
correct. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's
Now
what-
it's like
like
now. Yeah, I mean they can't beat the Street Profits and Hit Row, so we'll see.
Wait, who should have had squash matches? Hit Row?
No, Maximum Male Models.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like, they went into that feud too fast. I get what you're saying, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
their,
It
their,
was rushed.
their segments aren't even on. They don't have 2 minutes or 3 minutes of any time, and it's just like it's frustrating to watch because you invested so much already in
Well,
that.
McMahon did.
Yeah, no, I'm saying as a fan, Like you invested.
Yeah.
Like we watched segments thinking this is stupid, and they
Mhm.
somehow took chicken, and turned it into
Poop.
chicken salad. And
I
it's
mean,
just like, where do you get rewarded for that?
to be fair, perhaps Triple Papa H wasn't a fan of this, and this is
Of
one
the
of the
gimmick.
holdover. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the holdovers. I'm just gonna stand here like this and look like Masse. But yeah, I mean, like I said, what's it called again? Like I feel like this is probably one of the last holdovers of the McMahon era from the last like 50 years, right? That perhaps maybe Triple H didn't really like that, and maybe he wanted to put in a different direction. But oddly enough, it was over with us fans. Just because we love, I personally do love what's it called again? Max Dupree. So we'll see. I mean,
Immense
yeah, I love that. I love the freaking what was it called, the Pure Life Water commercial was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that killed me.
Yeah,
I
Mansoor
mean-
had like a generic character before this, so I'm glad he's doing this now.
And must say,
So
I
much
just
and they
there's
got
just so much you could do with them. I'm like, dude, Tyler Breeze is a free agent, and he technically
Oh,
works
you
for
could join
WWE.
them. Yeah,
He
you could join
technically
them.
works for WWE still, right? Because he's on up, down, down. Actually, I don't know how that contract situation works there, but he's on up, down, down. You have Los Lotharios. You could put them in there. You can put what's their face, Pretty Deadly. Put them in there. There's so much you can do.
and for me, Los Lotharios, I think they'd be best separated.
I mean, not a tag team, or just without
Hector
maximum
Garza is a star, I think, personally.
Angel.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
he's like a modern day Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. Very charismatic.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have to speak the
Oh.
best English, but
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean, I definitely think Humberto needs Angel more than Angel needs Humberto, but
exactly.
for now, I'm okay with them.
Put him.
I'm okay with
You know
them.
what? Put Umberto in Legado del Fantasma.
Oh, I can't wait for those guys to come up, man.
Do that. Put
I
him
can't
in
wait for
there. He'll be.
That could work. Yeah.
But like so like the other thing though is like, so they're feuding with Hit Row, and Hit Row was only appealing to me with Swerve. And right now, it's like, do you guys see an appeal in it?
I'm okay with them.
Yeah.
I don't love them, but I don't like dislike them per se. I think it's good that they're just more tag teams in general. I don't think they have to be shoehorned with the Street Profits all the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them.
But is
The
there
addition-
anything? Go ahead.
What's up? No, I say without Swerve, I think there's less. I get what you're saying. There's probably less appeal because Swerve was like the best
like their
wrestler out
leader.
of all three of them.
Right.
Well, four of them, including you had. But Top Dollar, much like Braun Strowman, he's a super athletic big guy. People are just people just they're attracted to that kind of stuff,
Yeah, he's very charismatic too.
I don't know. For me, I just don't see it. It's like one
You
of those.
must be a Young Bucks fan, sir.
It's not even that. It's like how do you say this?
I think he needs a new outfit per se, like that weird jersey thing he wears. But
I
Other
mean,
than that,
outfit wise,
And it works with his gimmick.
I don't
it
know.
looks like he woke up ready to go to the park on a Saturday afternoon, play basketball.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just I don't know. This whole gimmick just feels so forced, and it's like doesn't feel so natural.
I mean, I feel that way now just because I feel like they're just teaming in with the Street Profits just because for no reason. I think that's what they were on their own. I was fine with them.
Street Profits had no reason to even involve themselves with.
No, they're also on Raw, so I don't know.
Did he even like mention like how they became friends? They just like met up
They just walked into each other backstage.
and laid
They
like,
did money.
Right.
Money.
yeah, that's all it was, right?
Well, and then Los Lotharios, what they wrote all over Street Profits van. Thinking it was Hit Rose van.
This is the thing with me. Street Profits finally got out of that loop of they were interesting. Montez Ford seemed to be going in an interesting direction, as well as, Angelo Dawkins. They were more aggressive. They were more, not just the happy-go-lucky guys. And then now it's like, all right, we have to pair them with Hit Row. I'd rather see them feud with Hit Row, because Hit Row seems more like a heel stable, if anything.
Yeah,
Can
I
be,
agree.
sure.
I agree. Yeah.
But oddly enough, I think what you like about Street Profits is that's what they do on Mondays. Whenever they come to SmackDown, they revert back to what you don't like about them. If that makes any sense. Because for whatever reason, they're on both shows. Not every time, but they are on both shows sometimes.
Yeah.
But on Raw, their main show is Raw, right? Because they switch with New Day that time. But on Raw, they're fine in my opinion. Like their feuds with American Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy.
They've been great. Like I love what's that pounce into the back suplex that they do. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That was unique. But like for me, I still can't see the appeal behind it. It just seems
Montez
like
is ripped now.
he's just pushing that whole agenda. I feel like it's like, I mean, maybe the fans like it. Maybe they're moving merchandise and he sees something that I don't. But
yeah,
I'm sure there's more solo cups being sold now, right?
No, I'm talking about Street Profits. I'm cool with, but I'm talking about Hit Row.
talking about Hit Row.
I don't even. What merch do they have? Do they have shirts?
I think they don't know what to do with them yet. I think this is just temporary. It's just them teaming up with Street Profits.
Hey, just get them back on board.
Yeah, just to get them to
Triple H
do something on the show.
To my understanding, I know Triple H loved Francis Top Dollar.
I like Top Dollar too, man. He's great. He's funny.
He knows that show thing.
Yeah, the greatest treasures, right?
Yeah, treasures. Yeah, and Annie.
He knows his stuff.
If you had to tell me something though, I feel like I would bet my money on Ashanti being the star.
Man, I feel like Ashanti's like a watered down JTG.
Or Carmelo Hayes.
Unless wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can't compare Carmelo Hayes with any of them. Carmelo Hayes is
a less watered down version. I mean,
Carmelo Hayes is like
an
super athletic
star.
HBK.
Yeah.
That's like HBK's favorite right now, right?
Let's just put it as it is. He is already a bona fide all-around star. Adding him with Trick Williams was the perfect move.
Mm-hmm. And it gets Trick Williams
off each other really well.
It gets Trick Williams over because I don't think he would have survived without it.
Yeah. And but like in terms of like Hit Row, they're completely different. That's why I remember there was like rumors of like where people on Twitter trying to push like, let's get these black guys together. We're gonna put Carmelo Hayes as the new Swerve for
no.
Leave
them alone.
But like for me, for AJ, the Top Dollar, he's boring.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like him.
I'd rather watch Ashanti and see how he progresses.
Yeah, I'm the opposite, obviously. Just what I remember from Ashanti, like before Hit Row, like he wasn't like there wasn't much I liked about him when he wasn't in Hit Row, and then when he wasn't Hit Row, I was okay. Like, it gave him something to do, gave them a tag team, and then and like I said, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Like B-Fab is going to eventually have to get into the rig eventually, right? So hopefully she cleaned up a little bit.
Top Dollar is a better rapper than Adonis. I think he's more entertaining.
I think it's one of those things with being a rapper. It's so dangerous. It's because do you try to be a modern day rapper or someone that's like a legitimate rapper, or do you be a rapper that's an entertaining rapper? Because it's just you got Max Caster, who's entertaining.
Yeah. He's not a good rapper, but he's entertaining.
He's entertaining, right.
People want to hear what he's saying next. Just like John Cena, he was a decent rapper, but people were more interested in hearing him talk about.
Scissor me, Marv.
It was like he had the same exact formula as Cena. Cena gave it a small burst. He wasn't trying to be like 50 Cent at the time and rap 16 bars, and you have these guys pulling on like a 4-minute cipher on SmackDown. You're just like, I could just go on YouTube and find another SoundCloud rapper that can do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, but can he wrestle?
I mean, Lil Scrappy did it.
Well, I'd rather have those ciphers than like corny raps.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on like who they're facing, you know? You can
Depends
have
on
those
context. It depends
Yeah.
on context for me.
All right.
but, I don't know.
Right.
The hip hop fan in me likes those ciphers.
So my thing is, all right, you like the rappers, right?
Yeah.
I feel
I like that.
There's a way to do that with respect.
I like their ciphers more than their raps when they come into
When somebody-
the ring. Yeah, when they're like insulting somebody in the ring. Because I don't know, I find that corny, man.
But it keeps to the subject of what you're going to go up against. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. It's like how TikTok is a big thing. You have 15-second to like 5 to 15 seconds to grab someone's attention to make it something that's memorable.
No, I get
But
that.
you can't.
I get
You
that,
can't
but
have that in
their
WWE
quality,
when Max Caster exists.
their quality of raps are not as good as their ciphers. Like the Acclaimed have better raps in their entrances than they do.
Well, he's a punchline rapper. He's not like for content. He's not like a context rapper. If
Yeah,
anything, he's
like,
hashtag rapping.
I'm not gonna watch a full Max Caster 3-minute music video,
He has concerts, believe it or not. People go to them,
which is
but they're,
fine. He's
they're
probably an
usually-
amazing artist. Not taking away anything from him, but like for the casual wrestling fan, like let's just say whatever, it's like I think it's easier to digest someone talking smack about like did you hear when Swerve interrupted them this past week
Yeah.
and how big of a heat he got?
Yeah,
He got interrupted. Now you figure let's do this with. Now we switched the thing with Maximum Male Models, and they interrupt Hit Row. You're gonna get half of the people saying, "Oh, thank God they finally interrupted them."
I
Or
get you.
here's Hit Row to save this, or here's Maximum Male Models to save the segment. You should never have that. Like you should have a clear, face and bait and heel, line. But
yeah, it's a gray area there.
But it's like when you're cheering for someone to God save me from this segment.
Yeah.
No, I get you. It's another Bailey. This is your life. We don't need that again.
But I feel like this is temporary. I think this is just like a 1 or 2 week thing, and then they'll go off to do their own thing.
I think with Hit Row, cater to the audience that's viewing it. Well, what's WWE catering to? They're catering now to, 15 to 30-year-olds, right?
They're going for a demo. Demo.
But like, the Hit Row can easily do rhymes that, hit, that, they can do insults. But it's just like, yeah.
I don't know. I get you.
Yeah. So if Swerve was still in Hit Row, would you like him more? Would you think differently of him? Is he the main reason why you don't like him?
See, the thing is, you know who did the whole rhyming thing really well and wasn't like cringy too much was the Usos. So like they did bar for bar, they took over,
Yeah.
So it was like that. Like I think with Hit Row with Swerve, it was like everyone had a line, everyone spoke, everyone got their shine, and it was simple, like 4 bars, perfect introduction. But now it's like, where are they? They're kind of just purgatory.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see, man. They just came
oh,
back.
Yeah.
They just came back, man. They just need to, take the rust out.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of them in NXT either, but
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I think they got called up way too soon.
They did,
Originally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Maximum Male Models made an impact in their first week.
Did that, yeah. They have a unique gimmick.
I'm gonna change my Instagram photo.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I hope, just so you guys know, JR sent an application to Maximum Male Models.
There you go.
I did. I didn't really, but I should have.
All right, let's talk about the. We barely touched on who you guys think Triple H should bring back besides Bray Wyatt.
This guy. If you get what I'm doing.
Oh, Jonah.
Yeah, I just want to hear Wade Barrett. Tsunami. Or I guess Corey Graves or somebody else, right? If he goes to the main roster.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him.
I think there's a chance. I think there's
Yeah.
a chance he would come back.
He needs
I don't
work
know.
on his promos though, but he's a great
I know
wrestler.
he's done with Impact. I don't know what his contract's like with New Japan, but I think there's a chance.
So Bleacher Report, they wrote an article with 10 wrestlers who Triple H should bring back. This is a month old, so Johnny Gargano was in it, but I'll name the wrestlers that are on this list, and you guys tell me what you think.
I assume we're gonna get Candice back. So if she's on there, just
Candice,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
she's in.
assume, I assume we'll get her back.
Yeah, I assume she'll be back because Johnny's back. So we'll skip her. Eric Rowan.
No.
Only if you bring back Bray.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah, he can't. He won't get a pop if he just comes back alone. You know.
He keeps showing up in AEW, and I mean he doesn't get a pop there.
What if Eric Rowan comes back with a tarantula?
Whoa! Stop the presses. No,
you don't need Bray Wyatt.
Morgan, I'm gonna physically assault you for even.
How dare you reference that tarantula again?
The electronic tarantula. It wasn't even a real tarantula.
No, you go ahead. Next person.
That's worse than the Hornswoggle reveal. I swear to God.
All right, next one. Tyler Breeze.
I mean, is he back? Kind of.
Well, you said he's still hired by WWE, right? Like he's technically
he's
still employed.
He's allowed to be an
up,
down, right? And they're up, down. WWE owns up, down. So I don't know exactly how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally would love Tyler Breeze back.
Yeah.
But
like you guys said, he'll be great in Maximum Male Models.
Yeah, I want them to go like 100% that way into like the model aspect of Tyler Breeze, not like the wrestler, like what's it called again? Not the really good wrestler, fashion police Tyler Breeze. I want the model Tyler Breeze again, the selfie stick Tyler Breeze.
Selfie stick Tyler Breeze, yeah.
I mean, we also got to think you got to evolve past your past gimmicks. You can't rely completely on just that. And I think you can still have him be a male model. I think selfie sticks are past. There's got to be other things that he can do.
And selfie sticks are still in.
No, I think he can have somebody recording for him.
Okay, yeah, that worked.
Like
a
Tenille
vlog?
Dashwood, like Tenille Dashwood's guy in Impact.
Correct. Like someone in NXT can come up and be the recorder,
Yeah.
For social
work.
Sure.
That could work, yeah. That is true. Like nobody uses selfie sticks anymore, right?
No.
Unless you're a tourist.
Gimbals. You use gimbals. And stuff.
Gimbals, yeah.
We're an Asian tourist. That's it.
All right. Who's next on the list? Well, his tag team partner, Fandango. I think he's another one that could work well with Maximum Male Models. What do you guys think? No?
I'm not into Dango.
Yeah, I think that he's ran his course for whatever he can do.
He could say Dirty Dango in NWA. Not that he's a bad wrestler, but I just don't think there's not there. He would just be lost in the shuffle again.
He did everything he did,
Mm-hmm.
He would just be lost again.
You think his original gimmick is already people are already tired of that?
What, Fandango or Fandango?
Yeah. You don't think he can bring that gimmick back? You think?
Well, not even that.
people
I
are
think
tired of
he just stuck as that, right? Like he can't even be Johnny Curtis again, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even as Fandango, it's just this, it's ran its course. Everyone started Fandangoing. Like there's no more legs
Mhm.
after that. Maybe
Mhm.
I'm wrong. Maybe he has something else in the back pocket, but
Yeah.
Yeah, because even in the NWA, when he's Dirty Dango, it's the same thing. He's just a little more aggressive, I guess, but he's not needed.
Yeah, that's sad because he's one of the few wrestlers that beat Jericho clean
Jericho put him over in
at
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. Yeah.
I was there.
same.
I didn't think he was going to win, but he did.
I had a
he put him
Fandango,
over.
I was fandangoing. I was.
You were doing this.
Yeah, shaking my hips.
That was cool when the fans were doing it. It was weird when Fandango was doing it himself.
Well, that's when he became like a face, right? When he was a heel, and he was better as a heel.
He was, yeah. Kairi Singh is on this list.
Oh,
we're just talking about her.
Don't even ask me. Of course, I want her back.
Yes.
Like, is the sky blue?
I mean, who else has a better flying elbow drop than her, right?
Not CM Punk.
All right. And last one on the list is Matt Cardona. He's one I want to see back.
I actually just had a I had a conversation with my cousin about Matt Cardona, and he made me realize, you know what? I'm okay if he doesn't come back.
Same.
I don't think he does. I don't.
He's good. He's doing great in the Indies right now.
I mean, sure, but it's one of those things where it's like he's over for what he does, but in ring, if you watch him, he's not that great, right? He's a character. I just think he's mediocre. To be fair, no offense to Cardona, just
his character, his wrestling, or overall.
I mean, a little bit of everything. I feel like even his cadence when he's on the mic, I feel he's trying too hard to like have that Triple H like growl kind of sound. I've always thought Myers was just a better wrestler. Cardona's just in better shape. I think that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
And like him without Chelsea or with him with Chelsea?
I like to see him with Chelsea, man. They have good chemistry, just like Cross and Scarlett.
Yeah, but that's just more because we like Chelsea, I think.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I agree with like Mark. I think Mark.
Hey, she helped him win a match where she flashed her boobs.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, but I mean, Cardona, like I said, I'm okay with him not coming back.
I think for me, the main reason I don't think he needs to come back, or I don't want him back, is because he's doing fine.
Yeah,
outside,
he's doing great for himself now.
Doesn't need the WWE. He can come back if he wants to fulfill, I need to do this or whatever. But
if he wants another big payday just to work like a couple shows with WWE, sure.
Or a WrestleMania event again, go for it. You won the title at a Money in the Bank in a WrestleMania Intercontinental.
Right.
I mean,
even though he lost it the next day,
that's fine.
Yeah.
You still got your moment. Nobody's
right. He had his WrestleMania.
He
moment.
won the tag titles at Mania too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and the thing is, the guy, I feel for him for doing so much for that company that he doesn't get credit for. He just seems like a nice guy, just a genuine, big kid.
So my question is, since Triple H is head of creative, if Matt does come back, do you think Triple H would change his character to how he was in WWE before, or would Triple H bring the character that he is now?
So I think honestly, because Cody's back, I feel like Cardona can come back and will come back. I'm not saying like anytime soon, but eventually maybe, right?
As the character he is now?
No, he's gonna come back as Zack Ryder.
Or as the internet champion.
So me personally, I don't want him to come back as Zack Ryder. I'd rather him come back as Cardona. Keep the downstate music, right? But yeah, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Cardona, but I think he's doing great for himself in the Indies, which is great. I would like the major players to come back because again, I like Brian Myers. I think he's underrated.
I like Brian Myers too, man. He's really friendly too.
We had a short conversation. I felt like I couldn't do that with Cardona.
If he hates JR, I'm okay with it because you know what? I will be friends with Matt Cardona. I love him.
You like Matt Cardona?
man.
I like Matt Cardona
love-
too, man.
You know what? Let me say this. When he first came on the Indies, he was still trying to discover what he was doing on the Indies. Maybe he had a plan. But the moment that he broke into being like GCW's #1 villain,
The
and the
Deathmatch
fact
King.
that, like
Deathmatch again, yeah. That's
Yeah,
when he was super over.
because when he was in AEW, he was the same thing. That, he was in WWE. He saved Cody and then disappeared. So he went to Impact and then
Oh, sorry guys,
did the
congested.
same thing that he was doing and nobody cared. And then once he became the Deathmatch King and
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't stay in AEW a little longer, but
he would have got
I
lost.
get what
in
you're
the
saying.
shuffle. He would have been
Yeah.
Cody's friend that protects him and interferes.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because
They
it's
have-
just they have
they
too
have
many
Arn-
wrestlers in
They have
AEW.
Arn for that.
Yeah. So
Well, at the time they didn't.
I'm a Cardona fan. I like what he's done. He always keeps changing the game for himself. I respect it. That's all.
I think he's the best in the Indies right now. I can't think of anyone else that's as successful as he is in the Indies.
I think he's what's the word I'm looking for here?
I'm gonna.
I think he's utilized his time on the Indies better than anybody.
Yes.
Again, not that he's the best wrestler, but he's like carved a weird niche for himself. You know what I'm saying?
He's his own person.
Yeah, like it's his own brand,
Yeah.
if anything.
Very marketable.
Right. But
We
I want to
haven't
talk
got to
about
AEW
yeah. Let's talk about that. The AEW media scrum.
Mm,
We didn't even talk about Clash of the Castle.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It was good.
We had enough
It's-
WWE.
Yeah.
It was good.
We gotta show AEW some love, JR. Come on.
Oh well, if we're gonna talk about the shit show that it is right now, great.
Well, love, maybe not love. Well, we gotta at least mention AEW.
I need a T-shirt that says JR was right.
All right, so let's talk about it. So Punk at AEW's media scrum after the All Out pay-per-view
Juicy, man. It's
had
great
a lot of
being a wrestling
words.
journalist.
Had a lot of words to say about
Everything.
yeah, the EVPs
The
of
Bucks,
AEW, the
Omega,
Bucks,
to Muffins.
Hangman Adam Page, Colt Cabana,
Got Colton.
Scott Colton. Right.
So I
So what are your
read
thoughts on
recently.
it?
I read recently that this was planned. Not that it was a work, but apparently Punk was planning to do this.
Oh, okay. Just he himself
he-
was planning to do
Yeah,
it,
like
not-
he wanted to do
you know.
this for the scrum because if anybody hates wrestling media, sorry Phil, it's CM Punk.
Mhm.
I'm still kind of 50-50, honestly. Because I understand where Punk's coming from, where people are spreading rumors about him and it's the EVPs, and that's just not what EVPs should be doing, right? But I also understand that he should have never aired it out the way he did. Right. Yeah, it's just a weird situation, man. It's kind of, and Tony Khan's just like a deer in the headlights, man. Like he didn't not know what to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, he just awkwardly sipping his water, like what's going on, guys? You know what I'm saying? It's like the proverbial meme of him just sitting in the room where the house is on fire and everything is fine to him.
Yeah. He didn't look bothered at all. He just doesn't look. He
That's
just looked
because he's on
confused.
so much coke.
I think he's
Coca-Cola,
afraid.
I mean,
I think he's afraid
Coca-Cola.
to. I think he's afraid to talk back to Punk.
I
Especially.
think he's afraid to talk back to anybody. That's
especially
on the
when it's
roster.
reported. Yeah.
Like, he's fine talking back when he's not paying you, but when you're working for him, he's scared to talk to you,
Mhm.
or he's scared to talk bad about you, or whatever. Unless
Especially
you're
if
Thunder
he's,
Rosa.
especially if
another
he's a
story.
big fan of you.
So much drama.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
what
great to.
I feel like Punk was very unprofessional. He should have
Right.
mentioned it in the scrum. He should have talk about it behind the scenes with them. Talk to them face to face,
Yeah.
as opposed to talking about them and through the media.
Agree or disagree with Punk, he should never aired it out like that.
Yeah, and it messed up. Tony Khan. He's talking about he was trying to build a business here, but he's like ruining Tony's business. By messing up the feud between him and MJF. But
Yeah, for all the things Punk said about getting mad at Hangman going into business for himself, that's kind of what he did. That's kind of what Punk just did.
Yeah, it's contradictory.
Mark, what do you think?
I don't know. I can understand, like you said, both sides of it. I think years of animosity for Punk, of not being able to talk about certain things, about letting it go with Colt Cabana,
Mhm.
and like it's hard for him to move on mentally. People keep bringing it up. People keep asking, "Oh, how's things with this?" Or obviously, Colt Cabana mysteriously disappears from TV.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the catalysts.
I mean, we can speculate, but I think it's gotten to him, and as the media, they're supposed to blur the lines of kayfabe and reality, and like it's a difficult line to toe, because now you have people, especially like us, who have access to all these dirt sheets and things and hearsay, and then we turn everything that we hear as rumors, as third party, fourth party affiliates, into factual news, and we spread it without getting word of mouth directly from the source. And the part of it is we're talking about things that it's like we can't get in touch with them. We can't speak to Colt Cabana. We can't speak to CM Punk. So we're just speculating. But the thing is, where is it as us? Where it lies on us, if we have listeners, if we have, let's just say we have like 5 listeners right now, or down the road we have 10,000 listeners. It's like, where is it that it lies on our responsibility not to give them news that they're going to fully believe, that we don't even know what's 100%.
Right. Well, I mean, that's, for me personally, well, one, I do have a journalism degree, technically. I mean, I do. But that's kind of why I don't, even on our IG, I don't post certain things. Like, I mean, I read everything, right, as far as dirt sheets go, and like a lot of rumors. I try not to post anything unless it's concrete. I don't want it to be speculative. But yeah, definitely agree. Like, it's a lot of this happens because of the dirt sheets, right? And that's why Punk went off on everybody.
And
But it's also like, I think it's speculated that the Bucks, obviously, I think he insinuated that the EVPs were spreading a lot of the rumors to the dirt sheets, and it's been speculated, obviously, because the Bucks are close to Dave Meltzer. It's just a whole mess.
Yeah.
I wonder how factual that is, though.
What's up?
We'll never know.
About them spreading. How do we know, or how does Punk know? Like what,
I mean, I
what he
think
reads
Punk
in the
does
dirt
know.
sheets is real.
I think Punk does know, but obviously we don't know what's fact.
Like,
and
where's
what's
his
not, right?
source? Where's
he
his
works
main
with them.
source?
It's like he works with them, right?
Yeah, but
Because there's all these things about
does he
where,
heard
like,
it through the grapevine, through other wrestlers, like,
oh, I'm sure,
Other dirt sheets.
or the dirt sheets, yeah.
or is he
But
just relying on?
I mean, if you listen to everybody, there's, I mean, all the other podcasts out there, like Jim Cornette's and all that stuff. Like Jim Cornette is speculating, obviously, that it is the Bucks. But it's just one of those weird things that we won't know. And we still don't know what's going to happen to any of them, because we don't know how long the suspensions are going to be.
right?
Punk
is injured.
Punk may
he's
be
going to be out
fired.
He's going to be out.
He
for
also
9
might be
months
fired
anyway.
still. Apparently, it's a whole legal mess right now too.
Yeah.
I mean, Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega. I mean, what can you?
Allegedly.
I mean,
let's cover ourselves, guys. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly
yeah.
bit Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega tried to save Larry the Dog. What do we, like, what's going on? I mean, what's really going on,
So yeah, to continue that, I don't know, man. I can't like if we're talking just for fun, which whatever. It's just like, oh, it's hilarious to think of the whole Ace Steel is biting somebody. Apparently, I heard like Nick Jackson got knocked out. CM Punk threw
he threw a chair at Nick Jackson.
Through a chair. Yeah, he got a black eye, I heard.
black eye. CM
Yeah.
Punk threw the chair like Boondock style across the room.
I heard CM Punk threw the first punch.
Well, there's a number of things. I think he kicked. Supposedly, the Bucks like kicked in the door and stuff like that too, right?
but it's hilarious.
Super kick the door, right?
It's what's his name?
Super kick party.
It has no, it's her name, Magna Park or something like that.
The second in command, right?
She's
She's like head of legal.
head of legal, which is hilarious that
He was there.
person was there. So everything can be attested to a legal person, which
Yeah, but that's one of the things I heard that they're not talking about certain things because there's like an actual third party investigation going on now, so it's getting down to like legal stuff now.
which it's in hindsight, if that is facts, that has to be the smartest move that they've ever pulled, which was, look, we're gonna go into a room to talk to somebody, and we're gonna bring a lawyer with us. Just for observation, just to make sure they mediate everything.
Was it the Bucks that brought her?
They were, yeah. It was. They all approached.
Well, she was talking to them right before they went in or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I guess this stuff went down, and it's like I said, like maybe they shouldn't have went in when Punk was so heated, right?
But at the same time, yeah, they could have waited it out, or but at the same time, it's just like, all right, let's just say they let it slide, right?
I don't think you can't let it slide, but you have this conversation like in a better context or in a better situation, right?
So what's the next step? Let's just say you are Tony Khan, the Bucks and Kenny. They're like, we're gonna walk out. We're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna say anything. What would be your next move?
If you're threatening to walk out,
If they're like, look, we're not gonna hit him. We're not gonna go confront him about it, but we know where we stand. It's a him or us. What do you do as Tony Khan? Like, what would your next step be?
Man, damn.
but that I mean,
CM Punk is their moneymaker, and
but it
Kenny
goes
Omega
to
is like
where,
one of the greatest wrestlers. It's
arguably.
arguably, yeah.
I'm a fan of his, but that's arguable. It just depends on where you are as far as whose side you're on, right? Because I honestly think if the rumors are true and what happened, somebody has to go, in my opinion. And definitely Ace Steel, if he did what he did, definitely him.
Yeah.
And if you're getting rid of him, I think Punk is gone.
No. So the thing that I was asking was, there was no confrontation afterwards. Hypothetically, there was no confrontation. Punk did what he did.
Mhm.
What would your next step be after that interview? If they were like, the Bucks and Omega were like, we're pissed off. We're gonna stay in our room though, so nothing happens. The next day happens. They're like, you haven't heard from them. You haven't heard from Punk. You as Tony Khan, what would your next step be at that point?
If you can't get a meeting with them together, you have to have a meeting with them individually. I think you have to do something to Punk just because you can't talk like that. You can't do that. You can't air that grievance out like that in front of the public, especially
it has to be
with the owner there.
Yeah.
If you have to suspend them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the way I would have went if all this other stuff didn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now that all this other stuff did happen, if it happened the way it happened, that's what I think should happen as far as somebody has to go.
But now you suspended him, only suspended.
Right. And from what I've heard, people still want him gone.
So you would only suspend him though?
Punk?
If yes, hypothetical. You would only suspend him if no
if
punch.
the fight never happened?
Yes. You don't
Yeah,
believe that's
it's
grounds for termination for what he did.
I mean, it depends on, I guess, how their HR is, right? I mean,
Well, Mark, going back to your point, like if they only suspend him, that means Kenny Omega and the Bucks will leave, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
then yeah, I guess if that's a thing, like if that's the ultimatum, you're gonna, for business purposes, you'd have to get rid of Punk, no?
Not just business. I personally, on my end, if they didn't confront him, I'd say yes, fire Punk because they didn't do anything. They chose
Yeah,
not
because
to
I mean,
figure
at
anything
that
out.
point, the Bucks and Omega were the bigger men. Like they did it a little more
Yeah.
professionally.
Yeah, they were minding their own business.
And you have to give them that respect and courtesy.
I agree.
So
And
what-
also from a business standpoint, you can't let the Bucks and Kenny Omega go to WWE
Mhm.
because you know Punk wouldn't go, so you're safe there, right?
Yeah.
You get rid of Punk, you know he's not going to WWE. But
Yeah,
I think Omega and the Bucks would.
just out of spite.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah. And I don't think the morale would be as good in the back because you would
Yeah,
have-
no, that's
definitely
definitely
not.
true. Because to my understanding, I think most people backstage are on the Bucks and Omega side.
Because if you kept CM Punk, you know, people will be afraid that it might happen again. You know,
Well, it also shows favoritism, no?
it shows favoritism, yeah, and it'll just lower the whole locker room's morale. You know,
Who sent that meme? Was that somebody in our? You put that meme up, right? With the whole Seth talking to Tony Khan.
yeah,
Hey Tony, you there? Let's talk about morale.
oh yeah,
Man.
yeah.
It's just a weird situation, man. Like,
Completely dogs is Tony's masculinity and ownership of the company, man.
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
like
bro.
very disrespectful.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can really report on, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, as our responsibility as JRs, as a journalist, is the only thing we can really genuinely talk about is factual, is just how
just
the
the
meeting
facts, yeah.
yeah,
is
and we can
basically how-
speculate, but I'm not saying anything's like gospel or anything.
Yeah,
Right.
so the only thing we can say is gospel is how hilarious it was when Tony Khan was just listening to all of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, somebody needs to put make a T-shirt of Punk like bloody and eating a muffin.
I think
That's
it just
hilarious.
everything that Punk said just flew over his head, man. Because like when Punk
I
was
think
leaving, he was like, "Oh, can I have that drink?"
I don't
Like,
think
he-
it flew over his head. I think it just more he didn't know what to do. You
Yeah.
got to remember this
I don't
guy.
know. I think it was a mix of both. Because like
This guy literally has no experience in this business.
as he
he-
was leaving, he was friendly to him. You know, he didn't look
Well,
bothered.
that's one of the problems with AEW. Like he has to stop being their friends and start being their boss. Like
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah,
And to even go farther, there's no legit reason where active wrestlers should be executive vice presidents. It's just a bad luck, in my opinion.
it caused conflict of interest too.
Correct.
It does, but at the same time, just remember they're the ones that started the company from the get go. So I
They're the ones
want,
that.
I
they're the
want
ones
that
that-
title.
No, I get that, but look what happens. Like again, this is speculative because I have no knowledge of the truth in this matter, but I feel Cody left for a reason, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
we
he
can all
probably saw it coming.
hearsay.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's truth or not, but
Yeah.
what I think Cody left for a reason, and he didn't like where it was going.
Yeah,
But I think it is fact that him and the rest of the elite weren't getting along.
So what was his deal with Hangman Page? Like, why was he
Punk?
bothered by that? Yeah, was he bothered by that promo that Page?
Well, he
did
brought up
3 months
he
ago.
brought up he brought up Colt Cabana.
Did he?
In that promo? No, the one
Something
like
the
that.
promo he did 3 months ago.
He said something. Right? Somebody
He
played that
said
again?
nothing about Colt Cabana.
No, you didn't say anything about Cole.
He didn't.
He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even slightly reference him.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised, like how mad he was at Page and how
I
much
know he was
talked
mad
shit him.
about him not taking advice, right?
Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe that's it. Well, who is he trying to? Was Punk trying to give him advice, and he was ignoring it?
No, there was an interview with Hangman, and they asked him about like Sting and all them being in the back and getting advice from him, and then he like said, "I don't take advice from them. I don't listen to advice."
He mentioned Terry Funk.
No, he said like if Terry Funk tried to give him info like advice or something, like he wouldn't.
Oh,
take
it was
it.
giving an example. Okay.
There's a whole. I could have sworn about it. I could be wrong.
Yeah. With Punk, man, he burned a lot of bridges in that interview, man.
Yeah, it's like if he gets fired or if he leaves AEW, what does he do after this? Just sits at home with his money, I guess, right?
Yeah. Would he ever go back to WWE?
I don't think so. And I don't think WWE even wants him.
Yeah.
Because there was that rumor when WWE backstage was still a thing that Fox wanted to even pay for CM Punk's contract for WWE, and WWE was like, "We don't want him in the locker room."
Wow.
And even Booker T, he said he said something on this podcast in regards to like, not being a fan of Punk.
Yeah, he didn't agree with what Punk did.
It's an interesting time.
It is. It is, man. Like, who would have thought? Like, someone
a weekend of
a big
wrestling
name
last
like
weekend,
Punk
right?
would tear the company down.
I mean, they had a pretty good showing Wednesday as far as Dynamite goes, but trying to course correct, it could only do so much. I have a few issues with the booking of last week's episode, but that's just me being me.
Yeah. So, Mark, since you asked us, let's ask you, what would you do if you were Tony Khan? If the fight didn't break out, and Punk said whatever he had to say in that scrum, and then the Bucks and Omega threaten to leave if they don't fire him, what would you do if you were Tony Khan?
Fire Punk.
Yeah,
you
I think
emasculated me.
You can't do anything else, I think, right?
Yeah.
You insulted me. You emasculated me in front of people, whether you knowingly did it or not. You factually, this is all facts. You brought up a subject that was never brought up in the first place about Colt Cabana.
He didn't even give the journalist time to ask a question.
Yeah, no one triggered that question.
Yeah. You're right. He just brought him up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he decided to go off for whatever reason, like Colt Cabana catch straights, and it's that's the two simple things. That's all that's there. It's like you provoked everything. Just you can't let go of that. It's simple etiquette.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
that's for anywhere that you work. If you talk like that anywhere else, man, you'll be
well, that's
fired.
what I'm saying. He needs to put his foot down and stop trying to be everybody's friend. Stop trying to hug everybody.
Because it's the most hilarious thing. Because when I think about it, like if you break it down from like a realistic lifetime perspective, like these wrestlers don't have real life experience in their sense of like business and common workplace etiquette.
Some of them don't. I think, most of them don't, right?
Most of them have been in the public eye, been a celebrity for most of their life. Because let's just say you start from 18. So you work maybe a job at like 16, 15, and you've been a normal life up till then. But then after that, it's just like they have no concept or grasp of, how to treat people. So you're like, okay, some people can function, some people can't. Like you start seeing like, it's the same way that we question some people, like, how did they make it to nursing school?
Yeah, and I think it's more of a culture shock to like, especially to the AEW crowd, not the crowd per se, but the locker room, because you gotta remember these guys are just fresh off the indies, so like structurally they don't know anything different than the indies, so this is just a whole new world for them, right?
Exactly. And they're lucky that they have three leaders in Jericho, Moxley, and Brian,
right?
Can navigate these waters for them and You know, you have other veterans like Paul White, Mark Henry, and Regal. And then you also have Tony Schiavone,
Sting.
Sting. Yeah, perfect example.
This thing's just a little crazy though.
But you got people. That's all.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like Tony Khan, he needs to lean in more on these veterans and stop listening to the EVPs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's hard because they're the ones that start up the company, you know.
But you're the money guy. You're the boss.
That's true. Yeah.
You're the one that pays them. You gave them the title. That's your fault. I mean,
Do you think he'll ever put his foot down and
DK?
try to separate himself from the wrestlers? Do you think he'll ever do that?
He just needs to
No.
separate himself from the camera.
I think to his detriment, I don't think he will. He's too much of a fanboy that he loves
Like
being one of the trying to be one of the boys.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I had enough money to have my real life action figure federation, sure, right?
100%.
Yeah, he shouldn't be part of the media scrum, or they shouldn't even have that.
I think media scrums are a bad idea just to begin with.
Yeah, those because they do
It
shoot
doesn't do
interviews.
anything.
You know,
You're not progressing any storylines.
right?
It's not like WWE's fake ones, right? Like when they do the talking smack in the end back end, everything's still on
Talking
everything's
back,
still
and
kayfabe.
yeah, raw talk, right?
They're just to progress the storylines further. These are they're out of character, so it kind of just breaks that fourth wall, right? You're breaking kayfabe,
Yeah,
and anything can happen. Look what happened to Punk.
yeah. It breaks the illusion of what is going on in
Yeah,
wrestling.
man.
So
Like
They
when your
should,
biggest heel Jericho starts talking like a face or just being normal.
Right.
This is-
like helping all the other wrestlers out.
yeah, like I thought you were a wizard shooting fireballs at everybody.
Yes, they should get rid of that whole show,
I think they will after what happened.
especially after this, right?
I don't think Full Gear's gonna have a scrum.
All right, guys. You guys want to talk about your flavors of the month?
CM Punk now.
I got nothing right now.
It's hard, right?
It's just too much wrestling, like you said. It's just
It's super
I have-
overload right
I have
now.
my flavor of the month and my blandness of the month. My flavor of the
Okay,
month
go ahead.
would be it would be Triple H.
Not even a wrestler. Okay.
Not a wrestler. I mean, it's related to wrestling, but I mean, he's the flavor of the month because he
Yeah.
brought all these wrestlers back, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And we can see improvement in Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Blandness of the month would obviously be CM Punk.
I wouldn't say he's bland. See,
I mean, what he did in the scrum.
but it's not boring.
It's not.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, there's no positive thing about
Sure.
what
sure,
happened.
Sure.
So that's why it's considered my blandness.
No,
of
I
the
get
month.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's so much more to talk about the drama going on right now. Even the whole Thunder Rosa situation. Like that's confusing in itself. You know about that?
No, what? I didn't really read too much about that. What happened with that?
So she's injured, right? That's why they vacated the title.
That's why they
a whole other
relinquished the
shit.
title. Right.
That's a whole other thing. This whole interim, bro. Just take the title. Just vacate it, right?
Yeah.
Thunder
She got legit
Rosa-
injured, right?
So, so if you listen to Conan's podcast with Disco Inferno, shout out to them. Love you guys. That news broke out where she has like a hurt back or something in her vertebrae, right? Conan, I guess Conan didn't hear that news yet, but he heard that she vacated it. So Conan and Thunder Rosa are friends. He talks to her all the time, right? And she's supposed to she goes to AAA because he's the booker there. Apparently he asked her straight up, like, "Oh, was you injured?" And then I guess Thunder Rosa told him that she tore her ACL, so it's her knee. But now the news broke out that's her back. And then Conan asked her about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, I meant my back." And then Conan was like, went off. He's like, "Yo, you can't confuse your knee and your back. That's two different things, right?"
Yeah,
So like,
that's
so he was like,
that's weird.
his whole conspiracy theory side was like, is she injured or not, or is she being punished? Because if there was another thing where Tony Khan came out in an interview saying that there was more interest in the fatal four way than there was with Thunder Rosa versus Tony. It's a whole thing.
Huh, that's interesting.
Like, because there's apparently still there's heat on her because of what happened to Jamie Hayter, and there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, is it the botch? Was it the botch?
Yeah, like she broke her nose or something. It's just a weird situation overall in that backstage locker room. Malachi Black's gone. Apparently, it's
yeah.
how long before he shows up on WWE TV again, right? If the reports are
So
true.
I don't get that. I thought he was under contract for like 4 more years. So like they could release him without any consequences.
WWE does it. WWE does it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
From what I understand, he requested the release, and he might have. They're saying it was conditionally granted. Like there's conditions to it. Like I guess he can't wrestle anywhere anytime soon.
Probably
like
a 90, maybe 90-day clause.
Yeah, maybe like a 90-day clause or something.
Yeah.
But they're saying there's reports that he has like there's like some personal stuff going on too, because I know he backed out of some indie dates too recently for like health issues or something. So I don't know, man. I mean, all I can say is I hope he's okay. And if he ends up coming back to WWE, I'm all for it, because my favorite version of Tommy End is Aleister Black.
Right. Yeah, same here.
When booked properly. And when booked, I mean, when he's booked by Papa H.
Yeah. It seemed like they were going to put him over, like, when he returned from that injury in WWE.
He literally had a gimmick going on and a feud with Big E, and then he got fired.
So they did like a whole video promo and everything.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So hopefully he comes back. I don't know. I like to see him
again, hopefully he's healthy and he's fine, but I think
like
he'll see him back.
Yeah, I think he'll be happier there because he worked a lot with Triple H when he was in NXT, and now that he's head of creative, and his wife is there, so
yeah,
so many reasons for him to come back.
But to segue back into flavor of the month, I have 2, or technically 3. Well, 4 technically. Well,
make it 5.
It's 2 tandems. Like we touched on this earlier. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, love those guys. They need to get to the main roster as soon as possible. Carmelo Hayes match with Ricochet.
That was an amazing match.
They literally did a spot where worlds collided.
Right.
It was good. I'm not a huge fan of Trick Williams, but I appreciate what he brings to the act as like the hype man.
He's a good manager for Carmelo.
Yeah, like a tall Leo Rush, right?
Yeah.
And the other 2 would be Karrion and Scarlett. I keep going back to them because I love them, not just Scarlett.
Gotta see him back.
I like how they're not overexposing them. Like he doesn't have a match every week or anything like that, but he does show up in certain aspects. Like if you watch tonight, the whole time I was watching SmackDown, I'm like, yo, where's Karrion and Scarlett? They're not at all on the show, and they showed up in the last like minute and choked the life out of Drew McIntyre while Scarlett's just laughing. It was great TV.
Did you read what Drew McIntyre said about Karen Cross?
I don't understand the hourglass. They don't TikTok.
They don't TikTok.
It's just a concept of time, Drew.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
But yeah, that was funny. And I guess if you're gonna do a blandness, I'm scouring my brain. I'd say Punk, but whatever. I'd say Tony Khan.
Yeah, I agree.
Do better, I guess what I would say. Like that's the advice I give him. Stop being friends with everybody. Just do better.
Yeah,
run your business.
Put his foot down, man. Can't mix business. You can't mix business with pleasure.
Like he doesn't go to the Jaguars practice and hug everybody, right?
That's a good point.
I mean, they suck anyway, but whatever. Go Giants. They suck too, though, but whatever.
All right. You don't have any flavor of the month, Mark?
I mean, personally, if I had to pick one, Giovanni Vinci.
Hold on, hold on.
Honestly, I am so upset that they completely turned him back into Imperium henchman.
I'm the opposite, but yeah, keep going.
So my belief is like he had no charisma or personality as Fabian Eichner. He was great in Imperium. He looked good, fine, whatever. But Giovanni Vinci, hilarious. That intro, hilarious. Presentation, hilarious. Different moveset, more flashy as opposed to Imperium's, the mat is sacred.
Well, I think his moveset was still very similar.
Similar, but a little more high flying, a little more flashy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does that still in Imperium, but I get he's turned up a little bit as when he was solo, right?
Yeah. And it's like his personality was just about to shine. It's just like I understand Imperium needs a 3 to counter
the brutes.
The brutes,
yeah, the brutes and whatever. But it's just like, how does Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, who are like, whatever, pair now with this guy who's like, I'm all into riches and the good life, and it's just
easy, bro. Because that happened in NXT. That didn't happen in the main roster. So
right?
It technically didn't happen.
It's like a different world. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I will not counter per se, but in my perspective, I prefer him in Imperium. One, for like what you said, just so they have that 3 versus 3, right, with the Brawling Brutes, because that's one thing. The other thing for me was I had a weird PTSD moment when Gunther was beating the crap out of Ludwig. I just kept thinking of what's his Lord Tensai. And what was his freaking his that guy's name that he just beat the crap out of every day?
I don't remember that. I
remember, but you remember he would beat up like his young boy or his manager, and I didn't want that to happen again. But my whole thing with Fabian Eichner, Giovanni Vinci, I wasn't sold on the act. I thought it was okay when he was doing that, and it was different. But I think with the influx of all the NXT UK people coming in, I think he would have got lost in the shuffle. So I think it was good to just move him anyway.
I don't think so, just because
you have JD McDonough, terrible name.
Yeah,
but you have all these guys coming in. I think we're just easier for him to move out.
But you're building on a gimmick. You're building on something that's new and different, and you got to take those risks. And that's where Giovanni Vinci comes in. People were already getting behind his entrance.
Yeah, but then he lost to Carmelo.
Yeah, but he had an amazing match with Carmelo. That's the difference between, losing but looking good in your loss, as opposed to Hit Row beating maximum male models, and you barely have that.
I get you.
So for me, Giovanni Vinci, like I said, that's why he's my pick of the month, was because, well, at least before, was just because it's just like my man was finally getting his chance to shine. He was getting his own opportunity to do whatever gimmick that, separated him from the group. And, he even had the facial hair, and he added, the
I
style.
get you. I just feel like that was too much of a McMahon thing.
I don't know. Well, I liked it. It's character.
No, I get you. Definitely, I understand.
That's a valid reason. It's better to wrestle solo as opposed to just being known to be part of a group.
Like I would like for them to address it in the future. Like just be like, there's a difference in Imperium where it's like, yes, he has a different lifestyle outside of the ring. He has, lavish things. We don't get along. We don't see eye to eye and everything.
He has Ferraris.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the writing on the wall for him once they got JD McDonough or Jordan Devlin, right? They totally went in a different direction. For me personally, like I said, when they introduced Jordan Devlin to NXT, I thought it was weird because I think his original vignettes were very similar to Giovanni's original vignettes, where he was like driving a fancy car on the countryside and all that stuff. But then obviously they went in a weird direction for JD afterwards. But I thought, like, all right, what the heck they're gonna do with Giovanni now, right?
Which is absolutely hilarious because Giovanni Vinci did that gimmick better than he did.
And now both of them don't do it at all. That's the weird part.
And the funny thing was Giovanni Vinci had, I mean, what's it called? JD or whatever his name is.
JD McDonough,
Yeah. What was his previous name?
Jordan Devlin.
Devlin.
Jordan Devlin.
He had the better introduction because he jumped Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like Vinci did it off of a mid-card act. So if you're telling me who deserves that gimmick more, you know where I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Well, it's a moot point because none of them are doing it, right?
Yeah.
JD has that weird, like, I'm gonna break your bones precisely or whatever he does. I love JD, but
So he's
I love him as
a
a
classy
wrestler.
cruiserweight.
Yeah. I love the Hisaido suplex. Not better than the carrying crosses, but I love
I
both
don't
of them.
care. Best Saito suplex is still Takeshi Morishima, but that's getting off topic.
Mhm. No, Shawn Michaels.
Eh,
Well, it's like the teardrop, right? That's what he called it.
yeah.
It wasn't that good. I just like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's not known for that.
Yeah.
No. That was like his move before he started doing the super kick as his finish.
You have a blandness of the month, Mark? Is there anything that you didn't like?
Also
this
Giovanni
past-
Bro,
Vinci.
Yeah, bro. Okay.
that's it.
Did
I'm
mention
not even
that.
going to comment
Right.
on that. I'm not going
That
to
goes
wait.
without.
Yeah,
that
you
goes
already
without
mentioned
saying.
that. Okay.
Kid Bro.
Hey, bro, money. I get what you're saying about Hero. I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
theirs, but I'm willing to give them some more time.
Yeah. I don't know. I like them.
So
I
look,
like them even without Swerve.
let's just say this.
It's also not their fault that they don't have Swerve.
Let's say this. Hit Row had how many months that they were fired?
Let's say
April?
yeah, it was like maybe like 5 months, 4 or 5 months.
They did one appearance, maybe two, that I saw that went on the internet. One of them
I saw-
had Swerve.
I saw BFAB at an autograph signing.
Right. We saw her in
But,
Seagawkis.
but
Yeah.
let's look at it this way. You had 5 months, 6 months,
They didn't do much.
not doing anything,
Mm.
not developing your characters, not making Hit Row have a different name or a different.
They did have a different name. I forget
No,
what they
not-
called themselves.
Well, not having a development.
Sure.
Like you can bring back Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes went the hard route. He redeveloped himself. He made himself marketable.
But
Now,
that's
obviously-
after years of being away from
That's some
WWE.
years.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but they didn't even take that initial step to make
I mean-
themselves like
I mean, to be fair, Dakota Kai didn't do anything.
she doesn't
Yeah.
need to. She's built her
Well,
credibility already.
well, I mean, we don't know
That's
that. I mean, maybe Hit Row did try, but no one would accept them. You know.
Nobody booked
And
them.
that's
Well,
my
but-
thing though. Like maybe they did try, but they failed. And at that point, it's just like, where do you see? Okay, how can we pivot this? How can we make our gimmick more interesting? How can we be more connecting to fans that aren't fans of hip hop? How can we not be seen as just another black stereotype?
No, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But this goes to my example of Braun Strowman, where I'm not a fan of his, but they're over.
But
Not
he
that-
built himself
not-
off the thing.
Not that Hit Row's over, but the crowd seems to enjoy it.
You had Braun Strowman as the black sheep, then you had Braun Strowman win the world title. They never won a title.
Yeah, but I'm just going on the fact that they're over.
Are they?
They get cheered.
I mean,
It's audible. Again, I'm just saying that it's similar where I don't like Braun Strowman, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. That's just what I'm saying.
no, I get you. I'm just talking like, let's just say I'm gonna take away all the whole smarkiness and Mark, being like, an online looking for dirt cheap person. Just saying as a fan, what is it that attracts me to Hit Row? What makes me go, they look cool. I want to watch them for another like 10 minutes on a segment. Like at least even like let's just say if we're gonna go to stereotypical gimmicks, Crime Time.
Mhm. Yeah.
First thing they did was a
What's back
vignette. You remember their vignettes? They used to jump people, rig
Yeah.
people for money any way that they can, con them. Hilarious, memorable. Obviously
Right.
not tasteful for this time, but it's like, all right, let's just say, and we take out the whole, they didn't do it. What could have WWE done better to present them? They could have given them more vignettes. They could have given them more backstory too. They're my blind of the month. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, I've been nitpicking at them for like the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes that we were talking. So I'm good. I'm done.
How would you repackage Hit Row?
I don't know, because at this point, you missed the train to make them unique in the sense of being like because if they do the one-liners, the punchlines, like JR said, they're just gonna be all their acclaimed ripoffs. You
Mhm.
can't go that route.
That's true. Yeah.
The closest thing you can do is, like I said, make them like the Usos when they rhyme. Let them take turns spitting bars and, nothing too long. But I personally don't know right now what would make me interested. Maybe build them up in some vignettes, give them a backstory, give them a feud that we would care about, let them beat up some jobbers for a couple of weeks, let them make themselves a couple of threats. It's just they got shoehorned into, let's beat up on a gimmick that hasn't ever debuted yet. Like, it's I don't know.
I get you. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens next few months. Hopefully, hopefully
give
they
it
come
time.
up with better stuff.
I guess.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. This is the end of our show. This is Marv, JR, and Mark signing out. Make sure to keep it real or keep it kayfabe.
Later.
Peace.
This is Brandy Lauren, and thank you guys for watching Kayfabe Man Cave.
The Vader Bomb